Can anyone remind me what is the meaning of a synonym?
A synonym is a word that is not written the same way as another word, but they mean the same thing.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
It is a word that is not written, it is not spelt in the same way, but it has either the same meaning or a similar meaning. And what is meant by an antonym?
Antonym is an opposite word.
All right, it is a word that is opposite in meaning to another word. So that is what we looked at last week. Now today, as you can see on the screen, we're looking at sentence correction. We're going to be seeing what this is about. Okay, the general objective of this lesson is to examine sentences that have errors. The specific objectives are: 1, at the end of this lesson, the students will have identified grammatical errors in each sentence. Number 2, at the end of this lesson, the students will have corrected grammatical errors in each sentence. Now here are some 10 sentences, and we're going to see what errors are in each sentence. I'm going to be starting with Brother Roy. The first sentence reads, I, a student of the Jamaica School of Preaching International. What is wrong with that sentence?
It should be I am, sir.
Correct. So the word am has been left out. I am a student of the Jamaica School of Preaching International. Now for Brother Solin, number 2. I am going to be a preacher great someday. What is wrong with that sentence?
Great should be placed before preacher.
That is correct. In English language grammar, the adjective great should be before the noun preacher. Now, I know that there are other languages that place the adjective after the noun, such as the Hebrew language. But in English, we place the adjective before the noun. An adjective describes a noun, tells you what kind of preacher that person is. He is a great preacher. So it should be, I am going to be a great preacher someday. The third sentence, back to Brother Roy. I am going to hard work to be a great preacher.
Hard should be for work, after work, sir.
Correct. Hard is an adverb which describes how that person is going to work. Work is a verb. And so it should be, I am going to work hard. Hard tells the reader or the listener how the preacher or how the student is going to work in order to be a great preacher. I'm going to work hard to be a great preacher. Brother Solin, back to you for number 4. I have to get enough sleep by night.
I believe that at supposed to be the word instead of by.
Okay, that is correct. In normal usage of the English language, we use the preposition at in a sentence like this, in referring to the the time, either of the day or of the night. By is also used, but it is used in another context. If you say that you want to fall asleep by 9 o'clock, you are telling the specific time that you want to be asleep. Okay, but if you're speaking about getting enough sleep, you use at, because you are showing the period of time, not a specific time, but a period of time in which you want to sleep and hopefully get enough sleep. Back to Brother Roy, I have to do the assignments as soon as I get them. Sorry, as soon as I them get. How would you correct that sentence?
Get should before them, sir.
Get should be before them.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
them is an object pronoun. And in the word order in English, the object should come after the verb. The verb in this case is get. And so you ask, get what? The answer is get them. Them is the object. And of course, as an object pronoun, the pronoun is referring to a noun that was said or written earlier in the sentence. The noun is assignments. So them is referring to assignments. I have to do the assignments as soon as I get them. So the word order is you have the verb get, and after the verb you have the object pronoun telling you what you are to get. Okay, I think it is Brother Solin's turn, is it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, Brother Solin, I'm going to call upon your knowledge of English patois, or what we call Jamaican Creole. I think you already recognize the problem in number 6, if we're looking at standard English.
Yes, sir.
Number 6 is, I have to watch less television programs. What is wrong with that sentence?
All right. The first thing is that the letter H is missing in half. And there is an S missing in less because it's supposed to be 2 S's.
Correct.
Now, television programs, there is no E. Well, it is supposed to be GRAMS.
Okay, well, that is correct for American English. American English is simpler than the British English. The British English has retained the older spelling of English words. But when the English colonists went to the American continent, they decided that they would simplify the English by trying to spell the word close to how it is pronounced. And of course, we don't say programmes. We say program. And so they moved the MES at the end of the word and just put S after the first M so that it would spell and it would be written the same way. In British English, though, this is the standard way of writing programs. Okay, so you're correct with the American English. However, Jamaica is following British English.
Yes.
So you're correct. I have to watch less television programs, and H should be before AVE, and there should be another S after LES. Back to you, Brother Roy. Number 7, I must come to classes in time. What is wrong with that sentence?
Where you have classes, it should be class. And in, sir.
What other word should be used in place
On.
of in?
On,
Repeat.
sir.
On, okay. Okay, I must come to class on time. You know, classes also could work. If you are going to an educational institution that has more than one class, you want to come to each class on time. Okay, so that could work. It doesn't have to be a grammatical error.
Okay.
One class or 2 classes or 3 classes could work. But the essential point is the word in. It should be on. Because again, on is specifying that you want to be there at the time the class is supposed to begin. Okay, so we usually say in English on in this context here, when you want to come to class before the class actually begins, so you're not late. I must come to class, or I must come to classes on time. Brother Solin, number 8, I must
sir.
listen careful in all of my classes.
All right, so here it's supposed to be carefully. And based on my understanding of the English language, the word of is not necessarily important.
Okay, that is correct. I didn't even notice that, but that is correct. You could write it both ways. You could say, and you could speak it both ways. I must listen carefully in all my classes, or I must listen carefully in all of my classes. Of may be used as well as it may not be used.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that is correct. Now, I want to point out something that I believe you know already, that careful itself, the word careful itself is an adjective. But if you want to turn an adjective in an adverb, all you do is add an ly at the end of that word. And
Yes,
the
sir.
reason we should not use this as an adjective here is because careful is actually describing how I must listen. I must listen carefully. An adverb describes a verb. An adverb gives more information about what action is being done by a verb. So this is not an adjective. This is not supposed to be an adjective, but it is supposed to be an adverb that modifies the action of the verb listen. People listen in different ways. Some people do not listen carefully, and some people listen carefully. So I must listen carefully in all my classes, or in all of my classes. Brother Roy, your time. Number 9
Yes, sir.
says, I must take down notes in all of my classes. What is wrong with that sentence?
Incorrect spelling, sir, in classes. It should be 2 S's.
Correct. There should be 2 S's in the middle of classes. So it should be CLASSES. Correct. I must take down notes in all of my classes. And as Brother Solin already pointed out in number 8, the use of the word of is not necessary. It's not wrong, but it is not necessary. We could also say, I must take down notes in all my classes. Okay, let us look at number 10. Brother Solin, I must look over all my notes each day.
Yes, sir. First of all, there was supposed to be a space in between 10 point and the word I or the letter I. And now, secondly, the word must, the T is left out. Look over all my is supposed to be written with a Y.
All right,
That's all.
good. All right. So normally we should put 2 spaces between that dot that comes after the number and the beginning of a sentence.
Yes, sir.
Okay, MUS should have a T at the end, and me is, it should be written as Y. MI should be written as MY. Okay. Okay, so these are the corrections.
After,
Yes,
sir,
go ahead. Yes.
before you go any further, I just want to ask Brother Stelling, why a Y and not a E?
In MI,
Because it is
Yes.
like a personal pronoun.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
okay.
it couldn't be me right there.
All right. Brother
No.
Solin, would you like to answer that question?
No, it couldn't be me. As a matter of fact, this me here is not written in English at all. So me would have been M-E, but this one here seems to be like a music note, you know? So that's not it.
No, the reason why I asked is just because if you put me there, the sentence wouldn't sound good either. So if
Okay.
you put
Oh,
man,
okay. Yeah,
Yes.
you're showing it is yours.
Yeah, I get it.
Okay. Also, MI is actually from Spanish, because the Spanish people say me when they are speaking about my. So me is a Spanish word that is equivalent to our my in English. In
Yes,
Jamaican Creole, some of the words that are used are Spanish in origin, which comes from our history. Christopher Columbus, working on behalf of the Spanish government, captured Jamaica from the Spaniards in 1655. So some of the language that is used in Jamaican Creole come originally from the Spanish language. My is a possessive pronoun. It's a personal pronoun, that is correct. It's also possessive because it's showing that the notes belongs to me. The notes are my notes. It's not Brother Solin's notes or Brother Roy's notes, but my notes. Okay, so it is a pronoun. Me, M-E, would be an object pronoun coming after a verb. But it would not be a possessive pronoun. What we have here is a possessive pronoun saying to whom these notes belong. Okay,
yes.
so let us look at the corrections you made. You really didn't have any problem. Number 1, the correction is am. All the correct words are underlined. I am. Then number 2, great preacher. The adjective goes before the noun. Number 3, work hard. Hard is the adverb describing how you need to work. Number 4, At, telling you the period of time in which you want to get enough sleep. 5, them, which is an object pronoun pointing back to assignments. 6, have, not have, and less, less. 7, on. 8, carefully. 9, classes. 10, must, and my. Okay, now let me just explain again the grammatical correction of each sentence. Number 1, when you identify who you are in the first person singular of the verb to be, the word am comes after I. So I am a student of the Jamaica School of Preaching International. So here it is in the verb to be, it is conjugated or broken down as follows. In the first person singular of the verb to be, it is I am. In the second person singular, it is you are. In the third person singular, it is he is, or she is, or it is. In the first person plural, it is we are. In the second person plural, it is you are. And in the third person plural, it is they are. So I should not be by itself. It should be I am, because this is the first person singular of the verb to be. Yes. Brother. Yeah.
Is there any exception to that rule when we come to emphatical sentence?
You mean that the am is not necessarily used?
No, well, all right. Just to break it down. If I'm right, maybe in some movies or while reading, perhaps in translating Greek also, I noticed that maybe someone may say, I, as the mayor of the city, I did that. Just to put an emphasis. So I don't know if that's correct or if they just do it in regular English but not the standard.
Oh, that would be correct, because he's not simply saying I am the mayor of the city, but he's saying that I, in my position as the mayor of the city, have the authority to do this or to say that. So when you have a phrase coming after I, which is to clarify who the I is, then you don't have to put the part that says am after I. I, comma, you don't even have to say as. I, comma, the mayor of Kingston and St. Andrew do not agree with the position taken by one of the council members. Okay, but when you're just writing it straightforward like a verb, the verb to be, you wouldn't say I, a student, but I am a student.
Okay, sir. Thank
Yeah.
you.
All right. Number 2, the adjective great must come before the noun preacher in the sentence, I'm going to be a great preacher someday. As I mentioned a few minutes ago, the adjective in the English language comes before the noun. It doesn't come after the noun, as in some other languages. It comes before the noun, and it describes the noun. It gives more information about the noun. Number 3, the verb work must come before the adverb hard in the sentence, I'm going to work hard to be a great preacher. This is a different position from the adjective. The adjective comes before a noun. The adverb comes after the verb. It is telling something more about the action expressed by the verb. How are you going to work to be a great preacher? I'm going to work hard. Number 4, the adverb of time that usually goes with the noun night is at in the sentence. I'm going to get enough sleep at night. So we call that, okay, it can be used as a preposition also, but here it is functioning as an adverb because it is saying when you want to get enough sleep. Number 5, the verb get must come before the direct object pronoun, them. In the sentence, hold on, the verb get must come before the direct object pronoun, them. In the sentence, I have to do the assignments as soon as I get them. So you don't say I them get, but you say I get them. Number 6, the word have should have the H at the beginning of the word, and less should be spelt with 2 S's in the sentence. I have to watch less television programs. Number 7, the preposition that usually goes with time is the word on. In the sentence, I must come to classes on time. 8, adverbs usually end in ly in the sentence. I must listen carefully in all of my classes. Number 9, classes need 2 S's and should be spelled as CLASSES in the sentence. I must take down notes in all of my classes. Okay, number 10, must, M-U-S, is spelled with a T at the end in the word must, and me is spelled with a Y instead of an I in the word my. In the sentence, I must look over all my notes each day.
Sir,
Okay.
another questions.
Yes, go ahead.
Can we substitute the word they by them? Because like I most of the time, maybe it's Jamaican patois, but I heard like someone may say them said to me or them called me and said so and so.
Okay, well, Brother Solin, what you have heard is a variation of Jamaican Creole. The original Jamaican Creole would say dem, D-E-M, but there are
Yes,
others who say them because I think they're trying to speak standard English, but they're not doing it altogether correctly. Them is an object pronoun, but they is a subject pronoun. You have the subject pronouns coming before the verb. For example, let me just take a verb, the verb to speak. All the pronouns that come before the verb in the verb to speak are subject pronouns. For example, first person singular, I speak. I is a pronoun, a subject pronoun. Second person singular, you speak. Third person singular, he speaks, she speaks, it speaks. First person plural, we speak. Second person plural, you speak. Third person plural, they speak. So they is a third person plural pronoun. Third person plural subject pronoun in the verb to speak and in other verbs. So when we say them in English, we are not dealing with the subject pronoun, but with the object pronoun, the object that comes after the verb in a sentence. But when we say they, we're using a subject pronoun that will come before the verb to make the sense or the meaning of the verb complete. I speak, they speak, etc. So what you are hearing in our country, Jamaica, is you're hearing a variation in the Jamaican Creole.
Okay,
Some
sir.
Jamaicans will say them, and some will say them.
Okay, sir.
And we
But
use,
normally in the English standard, we cannot use them instead of they in a
no,
sentence.
no,
Okay.
one is not equal to the other.
Yes, sir.
They are both pronouns, but they're different kinds of pronouns. Them is an object pronoun that comes after the verb, and they is a subject pronoun that comes before the verb
Yes, sir.
to make the meaning of the verb complete.
Yes,
Another
sir.
thing about Jamaican Creole, which you will learn later on, and I think you already know it, is that the word them, some people say them, like in standard English, is used to make a noun plural. For example, if
Yes,
a person says the children, if they say the child them, or maybe they will say the children them, they
yes, sir.
are pointing out that they're dealing with more than one child.
Yes,
Or
sir.
if they say the picnic them, that's more like it. The
Yes,
picnic
sir.
them or the picnic them, they're not dealing with one picnic. They're not dealing with one child. They're dealing with more than one child.
Yes,
So
sir.
it makes the noun plural in the Creole that we speak.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. So this is what is meant here by sentence correction. Looking at a sentence, identifying what is grammatically incorrect and making the correction. So I'm going to be stopping here, and Lord willing, next week I will revise both lessons, lesson 1, synonyms and antonyms, and lesson 2, sentence correction, to prepare you for test number 1. So
Yes,
test
sir.
number 1 will not be next week. God permitting, it will be the week after next week.
All right, sir.
Okay, well, take care. I'll see you later.
Yes, sir. You too.